Hi, everyone. Depending on where you are in the world, it is New Year already. For you, if you're already across the date line, Happy New Year. Enjoy your 2019. We'll catch up with you eventually. So I've got a few notes to go through today. As soon as anyone hops into the room with me, please say hello. I'm still talking to myself. I'm actually wondering how many people will turn up today. There were quite a few emails I got from people regretting that they wouldn't be able to join me live today. There's quite a few people that have got New Year's Eve plans, and depending on where you are in the world, you're probably super busy. Hi, Heather. Hello. Yes, I have someone and I have comments too. Thank you very much. Heather, it must be getting close to midnight for you. I think it's 10 or 11 p.m. I hope you're having a good New Year's Eve so far. So anyway, I thought I'd run through. I feel like I've just emerged from the other end of the big Christmas chaos and panic and stress and all those sort of things. So I thought, why don't we have a chat today about highlights from our Christmas and holiday breaks? So tell me, what was a highlight that you care to share about what was the best part of your Christmas this year? And I will share mine. So Heather, yes, 9 p.m. So you're getting close to popping champagne and having a drink. Are you going to stay up for midnight and see the new year in? I'm not entirely sure I'm going to. It's I don't want to say I'm too old for that, but I get up so early in the morning that midnight is a real marathon for me. So I may go to bed at my usual time and get up and enjoy 2019 tomorrow morning. So tell me what your highlight was for your Christmas. What was the best part? And I'll tell you what mine was. And Heather, yes, you're going to see the new year in as always. Good for you. There's something interesting about staying up till midnight. It's a strange time of year. So, okay, highlight for me. There was lots of good moments, but I think the really interesting one, which is kind of bizarre, is the fact that for this year, the first time. Hi, Karen. Hello. Happy New Year. Happy 2019. It's already 2019 for you. Did you see the new year in? If you're up this early, I suspect not. I hope you had a great Christmas. I was just explaining to Heather, who is the only other person that's online at the moment as well. What was the highlight for your Christmas? What was the best part, if you care to share that moment? And I was just getting to what my best moment was, which is a really bizarre one. For the first time this year, I'm actually, in our household, Mark is the cook. And when it comes to Christmas dinners and things like that, I'm the turkey carver. So I'm dangerous with a knife. Watch out. And my daughter, who sharpens knives for a living and is actually the best, has been judged by Japanese knife sharpeners as the best knife sharpener in Canada. Can you believe that? Anyway, she, for Christmas, brought all her sharpening stones with her and not only taught us how to properly sharpen a knife, but she sharpened all my knives too. So cutting the turkey this year was an absolute breeze. It was really easy. But one of the things I did this year for the first time in ever, and I can't believe we didn't do it before this, was I kept the turkey carcass and boiled up the bones, made a stock, and then made a soup from scratch that had all the leftover turkey meat in it as well. And we've been eating that for days and days now. There was like 8 liters of stock came out of the turkey carcass, which is just unbelievable. And then I did the veggies to go in the stock and the meat. And for people who are not worried about carbs, they can put a spoonful of rice in the bottom of the bowl and top the hot soup over the top. And I also put green curry paste in the soup as well, so it's got just a little bit of a kick in it. And believe it or not, that's probably one of the most memorable moments of our Christmas this year, was how good the soup was. So I think we'll be doing that for the next few years, is saving the carcass and building a soup out of it, because it really is great. So what about you guys? Tell me. Karen, no, never can. Take the Sydney, New York fireworks for later viewing. So yes, watching the fireworks. Oh, my bracelet. Thank you. Oh, and my cat Scratch, which Mary gave me this morning and is throbbing like a son of a bitch at the moment. But junk store. So I actually bought it because the stones in this they look yucky on the camera as far as I can see, but they're very pretty, very light olive green. And I've never seen stones like that. So I was thinking I bought it because there's little ones on this side too. I thought I would cannibalize it and take the stones off and make some sort of a necklace or something like that. But the bracelet itself is pretty. So I'm sort of wearing the bracelet until I get sick of it. And then I will make something with the stones, because buying those separately to make necklaces gets really expensive. So the whole thing cost me like $3 from the secondhand store. And I also picked up at the same time this really thick necklace of, bracelet of red faceted stones. I mean, they're not crystal or anything like that. They're just cheap glass. But even buying the cheap glass stuff when you're making lots of beads and things like that can get expensive. So I check out the jewelry that people give away to the secondhand stores, and then I can reuse it. Just like I got, I think a couple of weeks ago, I showed a necklace that I was making using my grandmother's pearls. Same thing. It's really cheap that way, and you can, like, you don't have to throw away jewelry just because the earring wire breaks or something like that. It's very useful. Okay, so yes, one of the things about my Christmas was, of course, I've been making lots and lots and lots of things. Let me just check comments here before I get into a roll. No, nothing there. It seems like it's just the three of us at the moment. This is quite weird. Kind of used to lots of people turning up, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure everyone will catch up with this on replay. So maybe I'll get a heap of emails afterwards telling me what their highlights were. Excuse me for a minute. Oh, goodness me. Sorry about that. I was playing with Pippin just before the video started. And because I'm allergic to cats, every now and again, Pippin just gets too much for me and I start sniffing. So excuse me. Yeah, anyway, I've been making lots of things, and one of the things I was going to do was show everyone after Christmas was over, when all the surprises were done, and I could show things. But of course, all I've got is photos now, because everything was wrapped up and given out to people who took them home. So I didn't even think of that. I mean, stupid. Anyway, what I thought I would do was, when I do the roundup email on Wednesday, where I talk about what happened in this Facebook Live, so everyone will be jealous and want to come and join us next week or something like that, I thought I would run the photos in there along with some commentary, because when I posted them on Facebook a few weeks ago, they just post like one after another, and I can't put captions or explanations or anything like that. So I'll do it in an email instead. And I'll show you some of the things that I've been doing. I've been getting very busy. It's been so much fun. But I must admit, I'm starting to twitch a little about getting back to writing. But it's been very good and very relaxing to sit and do crocheting and really silly things like that. I'm that far away from finishing a crocheted lace cardigan, and it's purple. So when I finished that, I will wear it, because it's for me. It's the first thing out of all these things I've been making that's actually for me. So my mum bought the wool for me. When I've finished it, and like I said, I'm very close to finishing it now. As soon as I've finished it, I'll wear it for a Facebook Live, and you can get to see that too. The only thing is I'm starting to obsess already about, okay, once I've done the cardigan, what necklace am I going to wear with it? So I'll have to make a necklace, and then I'll have to make a camisole to go underneath it. And then what am I going to wear it with? Maybe I need to make a new skirt or a new pair of trousers. This is the problem with making things, is you get on a roll and you start obsessing about, oh, well, you know, if I have that, then I need this and this and this and this to go with it. So it's probably just as well I give away like 90% of what I make, because then I don't have to worry about that sort of thing. And, oh, yes, of course, the Christmas coupon, the Christmas gift. Tell me what you bought. I'm interested to know. Or tell me what you're thinking about getting. I, of course, see all the sales going through, but I don't open up every single email and have a look at what everyone got. Because, well, one, there are too many of them for a start. And secondly, it's just, I only look at orders unless there's an issue or something like that. So tell me what you got for your Christmas gift. And while you're telling me what you got, tell me why you picked that book in particular, because I'm always curious to know what makes people buy the books. And if I can make them more appealing, then maybe you'll buy more of them. But that's the secondary thing. I'm just curious to know why you got what you did. So tell me what you got. Janita, hi. Hello. Happy New Year if it's already New Year where you are. If you're still building up to the Happy New Year, I hope it's a good one. And as I was explaining to everyone, I would like everyone to tell me what their favorite moment was in for Christmas. And you may have to watch on the replay to find out what my favorite moment was. It's probably not what you're thinking either. And thank you. Happy New Year to you too. So the other thing I was just saying, you came in halfway through this, I think. Tell me what you bought for your Christmas gift from the email. The really interesting thing, should have anticipated it and did not. I sent out the Christmas gift on Christmas Day thinking, well, you know, nobody's going to be checking their emails on Christmas Day. The site crashed twice from the traffic. It crashed on Christmas Day. I had to have an emergency text, bring the site back up again so that everyone could get their books. And then it crashed for the same reason, for excess traffic, on Boxing Day. So I think next time I do something like that, I'm going to have to time the email so that people get it maybe according to their time zone or something like that, but just to slow down the rush, because it gets expensive every time that the site crashes. So, but it's a nice problem to have, I must say. So, and I got lots and lots and lots of emails from people saying thank you, which was really nice. So let me know what you got for your Christmas gift and why. Where else? And, oh yes, of course, reading resolutions. I mean, New Year's Eve, New Year, everyone talks about New Year's resolutions. So let's talk about reading resolutions. What are your plans for your reading for 2019? Share what yours are if you have any, or if you've never thought of it until this moment, maybe think about what you would like to achieve reading-wise for the year ahead, and share it. You may inspire someone else to a challenge as well. They don't necessarily have to be challenges, just something that you think would be useful. So, and Junita said, I picked New Star Rising because I have the free version of Flying Blind in your science fiction series. I love the Endurance series. Great. Okay. Yeah, the New Star Rising is the first full novel in the Straight Science Fiction series. So clearly you enjoyed Flying Blind, or you wouldn't have got the novel. So I hope you enjoy that. Merry Christmas. Anyway, my reading resolutions for next year, because it's still December 31st here for a little while longer. What I'm going to do next year, which will, I'm sure, prove to be impossible, I would like to avoid buying new books as much as possible next year. I know that that is impossible for one reason, and that is because as an author, I need to stay on top of what all the other authors are writing and publishing, and also what the readers are buying, so I can keep track of what it is that you readers want in books. And that changes, it shifts very slowly over the year. So I have to keep buying the latest books to find out what the latest trends are, and if I want to join the trend, or if I want to avoid it like crazy. I avoided all the classic names and zombies like Pride and Prejudice and zombies and all that sort of stuff. I wasn't going to touch that, not even for a minute. I must admit, I had a look at the movie Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I think I lasted for about 3 scenes, and then it was just, yeah, no, sorry, can't do it, just wrong. And then there was the vampires one, Abe Lincoln and Vampires or something like that. Was, oh yeah, anyway, those MASH books, MASH genre books were just, they were fun while they lasted, but I was not going to hop into that one. Anyway, so avoid buying books as much as I can, and try and resist that. Instead, what I want to do is, I have a huge collection of books. Most of them are ebooks these days because of my move from Australia. I just started replacing the books that I used to have in print as ebooks. And as the books start being produced in ebooks and released, I buy my old collections and put them in my ebook collection. However, because I have so many books in my ebook collection, I don't know about you, I know this happens, but the books that you buy sort of drop down as you get new ones, and then new ones on top of that, and they all gradually sink down. And so you've got this quagmire right at the bottom of your ebook reader, Kindle, whatever it is that you use to read, of books that quite often you've completely forgotten that you had. And so what I want to do is mine that collection that I already own. I sort of feel like it's going to waste, that there was a reason I bought those books in the first place. So I want to get back to reading all those books that are like way, way, way down in the bottom, and discover new to me authors, find books that probably would appreciate reading, instead of constantly being on the search for new ones and stuff like that. So that's my resolution for 2019. I don't, like I said, I don't know how it's going to go, because there are times where I'm forced to buy new books because, well, research. Also, if there is a new book that you're probably not aware of this, you might be, I don't know. There is a huge market out there for books on how to write books, like how to write novels, or how to write nonfiction, or how to write, you name it. There is a ton of them out there. Authors tend to write a lot of books. Well, you're always told to write what you know, right? I'm sure you've even heard of that too. So writers write what they know, and that is writing. So there is thousands of how to write books out there. And every now and again, one of my favorite authors I respect, authors who work I generally regard as good, will put out a how-to book, and it's like, well, I have to buy that. So as far as that's concerned, no promises. If I'm buying fiction for research purposes, that doesn't count either. But purely for pleasure, fiction or non-fiction, I don't want to buy any new stuff this year. That's my ambition. Instead, I'm going to read everything that's down in the bottom of my Kindle, and old classics, like stuff, favorites from years gone by that I started when I first started reading. I want to get back into those as well. And I got a couple of comments, so let me just check. So Heather went back and chose Byzantine Heartbreak, as she forgot it the first time around, so I thought I'd give it another read. Great. That's I think that's one of the really thick ones. That's a real chunky novel. it was kind of interesting. I know I said it in the email. I said, well, if you want to get, bang for your buck, get the biggest ones out there. Everyone did. Everyone went straight for the Branded Rose Prophecy, which is like huge. It's 250,000 words. And so everyone grabbed that one, which is kind of, I hope they enjoy it. I hope I get lots of feedback saying, can you write the next one? Because it's such a big book. It's epic fantasy romance. And because it's so big, the time needed to write the next book in the series, I would miss a publication date 1 month just to get it done, because it's like 3 books in one, basically. So I keep hoping that I'll get lots of reader email saying, write another one. Anyway, lots of people got the Branded Rose Prophecy for Christmas, for their Christmas gift. So I'll be interested to see if I get any feedback from that. We'll see. And let's have a quick look. Heather, oh my God. Oh my God, what? Share. Okay, so I think this is probably because there's 3 of us online. Sorry, three. I can count, but this is me. Okay, this is me. There's only 3 of you online at the moment, which is making the feedback that makes you work so much harder for you guys, because then I get all this blank comment wasteland. And I've run through my notes already. I thought I'd have all these notes I wrote as many notes as I do normally for a Facebook Live, and I'm through them already, where normally it's like an hour or so or something like that. So Karen said, would love to know what's in your Kindle. Oh, you'd be surprised. Actually, I'm very boring. I have romance books that I buy for research. I have a lot of how to write books, which probably makes sense, I guess. And then I have a very big collection of nonfiction titles, self-help and research. So a lot of history books and stuff like that, that I don't access them on the Kindle specifically for research for specific facts. But I read them as, well, not quite leisure. I'm reading them thinking in the back of my mind, is this going to work for a story or something like that? Or also I'm reading just for general information, so that I'm setting up a book like history books, making sure I've got the politics right and the histories right and the culture's all correct and stuff like that. So I'm sort of picking up stuff as I go along. I don't read on the Kindle when I'm looking for specific facts for plotting. I usually do a quick Wikipedia for that, because Wikipedia is good for just single facts. So, but yeah, I have hundreds. And they cover all sorts of things. Including lots of, like I was talking about, making things. So sewing, crocheting, quilling, stuff like that. I have a few of those titles, but I tend to read those on the big screen here, because it's easier for instruction books to have it on a big screen rather than just the phone. If it's a text-based book, I will read that just on the phone. So, and Junita says, oh, hi Jane, hello, Happy New Year. Janita said, I read around 85 to 100 books a year, so we'll keep reading. I tried to cut down, but already passed my goal of 80 for 2018 in my Goodreads challenge goal. My plans are to publish my first book. Aha! Plans and anthology in the works to publish in March 2019. Several short stories planned, and read. I'm going to rethink my reading list, so maybe I'll get more of it read than I did, as it is always growing. Yes, mine too. Yes, it's I've had months where I swear I'm not going to buy another book, yet I seem to acquire books by osmosis or something like that. They just keep adding in there. That's why I want to go down through the bottom of my e-reader to find what I've got there, because you forget and you lose track. And there are books in there that I haven't even opened, which is, such, a waste of money to start with. But there could be gold in there that I don't know is there. So I want to get back into the bottom of my e-reader and find what's in there. Jane, as you've just come in, we're doing a quick... Oh, by the way, there's a few more people in the room. Do say hello when you're here, because I have no way of knowing you're here until you say so in comments. So just hello is fine. We're talking about our New Year's resolutions for reading. And as I was just explaining, my personal resolution is to not buy as many books and actually try to read through all the books that are at the bottom of my Kindle and discover the books in there that I had forgotten I had, and maybe find some really good ones. So tell us what your resolution is for reading for next year, or this year if it's already 2019 for you. Also, the other thing that we're talking about is, what did you get for your Christmas gift from me? Which book did you pick? And if you can tell me why you picked that one, that would help me, because that tells me why readers are picking up certain books, so that I can keep providing those sorts of books. So tell me what it is that you picked, or what you plan to pick. Or if you really need help picking, I can also help you with that. So can everyone else on the list. People like Heather, for instance, who's probably read everything in my backlist. Heather, maybe you can comment on that, how many books of mine you've actually read. So yeah, tell us which you picked or will pick. And Heather, oh, okay. So Heather's oh my God was, she didn't realize it was quite such a large book. So you're talking about the Branded Rose Prophecy. Yes, it's the print version, which is upstairs, so I can't run up and get it, or I'd show you. But the print version is conservatively about that thick there. And that's tiny, tiny little print. I had to put it down at like 8 or 7 pixels, the print, the text, because there is a limit on the number of pages that the printer can handle. So I had to make sure that the page count was down. And the only way to get the page count down was to use this tiny little print. So yeah, it's a huge book. Just off the top of my head, I think it's 265,000 words. So it's as big as a George Martin fantasy. Like I said, it's epic fantasy romance, and it's long. So in order to write another one, a sequel or anything like that, I have to have a really big chunk of time. So far, because of sales of that book have not been super hugely successful. I sell copies, but I have to keep the price up too. So I think the price scares a lot of people off, because that's a problem with ebooks. If you picked up a big, massive book like this in a bookstore and the price was higher than all the other books, then you instantly understand why. But when you're looking at the cover of the book on Amazon, like Heather said, she didn't realize it was that big. When you're looking at the cover and then you look at the price, you think, well, I'm not paying that much, because you can't see how big it is. Unless you're sort of like me, I will automatically have a look at the number of pages that Amazon lists in the data further down. And that quite often tells me why the book is that price. Or it will tell me that there's no reason for it to be that price, and I'll get annoyed and not buy it, just like you do. So, but yes, it's... and Karen got the second of the Sherlocks. That would be the case of the reluctant agent. So that clearly you enjoyed the first one. Good. So, and Heather has, yes, read quite a lot of my books and loved them all. And Karen will have to check this book out. I presume you mean the Branded Rose Prophecy. So, yeah, it's a biggie. Reserve a few days. You'll probably need a few days. In fact, actually, it's been a while since I read it too. So I would have to reread it and take notes if I was going to write the sequel. And I got a bubble. Thank you. Janita, I have noticed some authors putting word counts of novels at the bottom of their blurb on Amazon. It's an interesting idea, but if I tell you that a book is like 250,000 words, would that mean anything to you? A lot of readers don't, if I said a book was 50,000 words, it sounds like a lot, but in fact, it's a tiny little skinny category romance novel. So unless you're sort of used to thinking in thousands of words and how long or short that is in a book, having the word count there might not actually serve much of a purpose for readers. But Amazon do the same thing already automatically, and for every single book, they have a page count. Now it's their standard page count. But if all the books everywhere are of that standard page count, then you can get a general idea of how big the book is. So that's, I don't know if I'd want to put the word count there, but that page count I find is quite useful on Amazon. And most of the other booksellers do it too. They usually have a word count there, page count, sorry. And okay, so I've only had one person tell me what their reading resolution is for 2019. Have a think now. What would you like to do with your reading for this year? You tell me, and we can share ideas, and maybe I'll get some good ideas about what I want to do for this year. So maybe you want to read a different genre. Maybe you want to read more nonfiction. Maybe you want to have, just for instance, a year of pure fiction, and that's it. No self-help, no getting guilty about what you don't do because the book says that you should be. That might be an interesting year. Just get lost in fantasy for a year. What else could you do with reading? Read more books, of course. One of the interesting ones is keep a reading journal for the year. So every book you read, you give it a rating and a few words about what you thought of the book. And then at the end of the year, when you go back, you can read, well, you see all the books that you read. So quite often the comments you leave will remind you of the book that you read. So it's a way of preserving what you read instead of instantly forgetting about it. But reading journals are always interesting to look back, especially after a few years. So that's an idea. You could review every book. Reviewing is kind of interesting these days, but I think Amazon still give high ratings for reviewers that leave lots and lots of reviews. So that would be a possibility too. So we're getting short on comments here. That's because there's so few of us here. I've already scared off one person. So it gives me a count up here of how many people are actually watching, but it doesn't say who, which is why I say, leave a comment so I know who's here. But I'm putting pressure on you guys because there's only 4 of you. So I think if nobody has any fantabulous ideas for what they want to do with their reading for 2019, we'll keep this one nice and short too. I'm loving the bubbles. Everyone keeps doing bubbles, which is nice. And there goes another one. Thank you. So, like I said, when I do the email of roundup for today that I send out to everyone, I'll put all the photos in of everything that I have made now that Christmas has passed and I can actually talk about it and not spoil anything. Because as I discovered at Christmas, quite a few of my family are on my email list and I didn't know. So if I let the cat out of the bag on the email list before Christmas, they would have heard about, what they were getting or what I was making or something like that. So I'm glad I didn't do it. So, okay, so no more comments. If it's 2019 for you where you are, I hope you have a fabulous 2019. If it is yet to turn to 2019, which is most of us, I think. Yes, pretty much everyone so far. Have a fabulous new year. Hope if you're staying up for a midnight, enjoy. Don't drink too much or have a drink for me. And I will see you here next week. I'm not entirely sure what I will be doing next week, but I'll try to do something a little bit more structured than what we did the last couple of weeks. I wasn't sure how many people were going to turn up. So yes, I will see you next week. Enjoy. Have a great drink. Have a great new year. Yeah, and let's have fun next year. Lots of fiction. Yeah, I think lots of fiction would be a really good idea. So, bye.